Welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be walking you through exactly how to set up a search campaign in Google Ads. I'm going to go through with a live campaign walkthrough so you can see exactly how I do it. And this applies to literally any industry, whether you're a service-based business, an e-commerce brand, looking for top of funnel traffic, bottom of funnel traffic, whatever it may be, this is going to apply to you. I'll show you all of the settings that you need to be enabling in 2025 in order to effectively run a search campaign for your business on Google Ads. So I'll get right into it here. First step, as always, is just clicking this blue plus button here, going to new campaign, and we'll be taken to this screen here. Now, if you have all of your conversion tracking set up, you can select either sales or leads, depending on what your goal is, whether you're an e-commerce brand or a service-based brand. I'm just going to move here without guidance. You can also select without guidance if you really want to. It's actually not a big deal on this kind of section here, as long as you set a campaign goal of some sort. But we're going to go with search campaign, like I said, and now you get to select your goals. So in this account, I'm actually running, I'm building this out in a inactive service-based business account right now. So I'll keep the lead forms goal active, remove all other goals. Actually, we do want to keep in phone calls here. So we'll keep phone call leads in there. Now, if you are an e-commerce brand, you'll be wanting to have your goal as purchase and purchase only. You do not want to have begin checkout. You do not want to have add to cart. Both of those will confuse your data, make everything a lot less clear. So make sure if you're a service-based brand, you have submit lead forms, phone calls. And if you're an e-commerce brand, you have just purchase in here, right? It's for a search campaign. Let's keep on moving. So you don't need to click either of these, pretty much irrelevant. I just leave that disabled. Campaign name. Now we want to give it a nice clear name that outlines exactly what you're going to be doing with the campaign, who you're targeting, and what kind of bidding strategy you're going to start with. So typically I'll go with something like, for example here, this is a company that did cleaning. So it did, residential cleaning. So I might call this residential cleaning. And maybe let's say we're just targeting single city. So it could be Brisbane, see where I'm based right now. And then your bidding strategy, which at the beginning for us here will just be max clicks to keep things simple. And I also like to put in at the beginning just search, so it's very clear what kind of campaign we're running. Now you have a very clear name. It's going to be very obvious what this campaign is for. I really do recommend using good names for your campaigns, because if you don't, things can get very confusing in the account as you start to build and grow and add in additional campaigns. So we're just going to keep on going here. If you get offered to finish a draft, just go no, start new. You keep on building out this campaign. All right, so bidding strategy. Now, I talk about this pretty often on the channel, but if you are brand new to Google Ads, you don't have any data in your account yet, or if you've just started out and you have a couple conversions, but not really much, you really just want to be using either clicks or really just clicks in this case, right? So you just want to be using maximize clicks. Maximize clicks is going to allow you to bid on bid per click and basically focus on getting as many clicks as possible through to the account. Now you may think you want to try and get as many conversions or conversion values as possible, but the issue here is that Google just does not have enough data to effectively run these strategies for you. If you tell Google to get as many conversions as possible, but Google's never seen a conversion in the account, then you're going to have a lot of trouble finding the right people. So we start with clicks. Now, if you have any idea what the average CPC is in your industry, you can enable a limit here. But I generally don't recommend starting with it if you're new, because you probably don't know what the typical CPC is, and you might end up hamstringing yourself if you put in a CPC limit that's too low here. So just leave it disabled. And if you find that over time you're spending too much on clicks, you can enable this at any time down the line when you find out it is necessary. Bid for new customers only, it sounds great in theory, but if you don't have a heap of data in the account, once again, it's not really going to make any change to your campaign. So I'd recommend leaving that off too, nothing to worry about there, and we'll just move on to the next. All right, so campaign settings. This part is very important. Both of these you want to disable. Google Search Partners is basically search bars on any kind of website, on all these partners that Google has, right? It's not google.com. I imagine if you're running Google Ads, you probably want to show them on google.com. And display network is basically, again, showing your ads on websites, usually in the form of images or just small ads in the top right corner, telling you to click through. These are not things that you want to be focusing on if you're running a search campaign, right? If you're running a search campaign, especially if you're brand new, you want to be running on google.com for only official kind of search listings on Google, making sure that all your money is going towards the highest quality traffic, which you will find on Google. Both of these options here, these networks, have much lower quality traffic typically than Google Ads or just the Google listings. So I don't recommend enabling them until you are very far on and you really need additional traffic. I almost never use these networks. Okay, next up, another important setting. So in this case, like I said, we're going to target Brisbane, which is just a city in Australia here. If it comes up, Brisbane, include. All right. Now, once you've included your location, any other locations you might want to include, you can add them all in. You can also select it here, whatever you like. Just make sure you select the specific regions you want to target. You can also exclude places as well via the advanced targeting here if that's necessary for you. You can go all the way down to radiuses. That can be really helpful. So you can put in basically a radius around, Brisbane, for example, and you'll see a nice big circle. You can change the radius, all that kind of stuff. It's great. You can also target by postcodes even. You can do a lot of things in here. But for now, we're just going to be focusing on this city. Now, this is very important. Down here, you can see there is a setting to include either presence or interest or presence. Now, you want to be clicking on presence. Presence or interest means people who are in or regularly in or who have shown interest in your included locations. So I don't want to be targeting people who've shown interest in Brisbane because that could be someone from the US who's planning a holiday to Brisbane and they've been searching about it and that means they're showing interest. We don't want to target those people because they're not in our radius. If we're a cleaning company targeting Brisbane, we want leads from Brisbane. And so that's all we're going to target. We're just targeting presence. And that is almost across the board. If you're like a travel company, sometimes you can get some use here. Make a moving company sometimes as well. But for 90% of cases, you want to just go with presence. Just think about, do you want people who are actually living in the location or do you want people who are just searching for the location? Just think about that when you're enabling this setting here. Alrighty, languages, typically just keep this in English. If you're running in any other language, feel free to add it. Audience segments, we don't really need to start with anything here at all. I recommend leaving that blank. Broad will automatically be off here because we're using max clicks. Automatically created assets off. We do not want AI creating assets for us. It's going to give you absolutely trash assets that are just going to completely spend all your money and get you no results. So do not do that. Down in the more settings, nothing that we need to change down here either. Super easy. And we're just going to go next. All right, now you get an option to use AI to create your ads for you. Again, we do not want to do this. We don't trust AI yet. It can be very helpful for a lot of things, but on Google here for creating keywords and assets, it doesn't do a great job. So I don't recommend using it. So we hit skip. Now, as you can see here, we get to put in our keywords and our ads. So if you've ever watched any other video on this channel, I'm sure you've seen that I like to keep my targeting very tight and very themed. And that's what you should always be doing on Google. It's best practice. In the example here, let's say we are a cleaning company, like I said, and one service that this cleaning company did was end of lease cleaning. So basically when people move out of their rental lease apartment and they need to get a deep clean to make sure they get their bond back, all that kind of stuff. So we're going to target that specific service. Now that's what I recommend within your ad groups is targeting a specific service, a specific really tight niche within your ad groups. If we had an ad group just for cleaning Brisbane, you could still do that, but it typically wouldn't be as effective because your ad copy wouldn't be as targeted and as kind of relevant as something where it's a really, really tightly themed ad group. So we're going to make this end of lease cleaning. So, some more examples here. If you're a landscaping company, you may have a ad group targeted around mowing. You may have another ad group targeted around hedging, another one around, turfing, whatever it may be, right? So in this case, we're going to keep a really tight group on our end of lease cleaning and we're going to enter our keywords. So now when it comes to keywords, there are 3 different types of match types. As you can see here, you've got broad match, you've got exact match, and you've got phrase match. Broad match basically matches with almost anything in the world. So I could type like end of lease cleaning and I'd probably get results for, be targeting people who are searching for things like moving house, rentals near me, things that are absolutely irrelevant, right? Things that we do not want to target. One thing you always have to keep in mind with Google is you want to be targeting only the highest quality traffic, especially at the beginning of your account. So do not use broad match in campaigns like this. You can consider using broad match when you have a lot of conversion data in the account, but that's not the case now. Phrase match is a little bit tighter, right? So end of lease cleaning in phrase match format. So the way you do phrase match is by adding in little quotation marks here. If you were to do end of lease cleaning on phrase match, you'd probably get results like, again, it's still pretty broad nowadays on phrase. You'd probably get results like end of lease, rentals, when does my lease end? How do I clean my house at the end of a lease? Things that are kind of relevant, but not perfectly relevant to your query. Now, if you go to exact match, which is denoted by the square brackets here, this will give you the tightest matching possible in your account. And this is typically the way that I recommend going at the beginning of an account. Although it is more expensive to bid on exact match keywords, it will give you the highest quality traffic in comparison to the other options. And when you're early on, what you need is high quality traffic, right? Once you've got enough traffic, enough conversions to inform the algorithm, you can start playing around with kind of looser targeting, phrase match, broad match, things like that. But in the beginning, you need high quality targeting, which comes from exact match. So we're going to put in end of lease cleaning. We're also going to put in maybe end of tenancy cleaning. We're going to do move out cleaning. That's a common term there. End of rental clean, things like that, right? So these are terms that are highly relevant to this service. They're all tightly grouped and they represent a very high intent search. So typically I recommend doing between 5 to 10 keywords in an ad group. We're just going to do 4 here. That's fine. If you can only think of 4, that's fine as well. But usually 5 to 10 exact match keywords is a good number to have in your ad group for initial traffic. And now we are going to create the ad. So final URL, this is just going to be where you're sending your users. So let's just call it brisbanecleaning.com. And then you can put in display path which basically shows like a fictional path that they're going to. So like / end of lease. And now it's going to show up there. brisbanecleaning.com / end of lease. So this doesn't actually direct them to that URL, it just kind of displays as that URL. Headlines, right? Now this is important, but I'm going to keep it really straightforward and easy for you guys. So for headlines, you only really need to start with, let's say 3 to 5 headlines, right? Don't get overwhelmed here. Don't put in all 15. You're probably not spending enough money to get effective data on all 15 anyway. So we're going to keep it really simple. So first of all, you do want to have a headline that actually describes your service. So people get that immediate neuron activation, right? They see your ad, they see, oh, end of tenancy cleaning. Oh, perfect. They see that, it immediately clicks. This is what they are looking for. This is exactly what they want. Often I will actually pin this. Google doesn't like pinning, but if you pin it, it just makes sure that your headline is always there. It doesn't rotate away. Now you want to also introduce some emotion here. So it's like people who are getting end of lease cleaning are often worried about their bond, right? So it's like make sure, or guaranteed bond back, for example. This is a common guarantee in this industry, guaranteed bond back. So making sure that, they're not worried about the bond. And it's like another one, leave the cleaning stress to us. So they don't have to stress about the cleaning. This is too long here, but for example, what could we change this to? We could change this to forget clean out stress, move out hassle free. So these are more emotion inducing headlines, right? We've used one headline to describe the service. That's pretty good. We've got some to induce emotion. And then you can also throw some in for social proof. So like 1,000 plus happy customers. Of course, you should only be using titles here that are legitimate claims. So 1,000 happy customers if you have 1,000 happy customers. Whatever you can really use, right? 5-star average rating, things like this. So this boosts confidence. So now you got a clear description of your service. You have a emotional trigger to make people feel emotive about your ads. And you have a social proof included to show, okay, yeah, these guys are the real deal. They're legitimate. Descriptions. Okay, now usually in here, again, you want to have one description related to your service. So, and so what I like to do is I like to capitalize the headlines, but we don't capitalize all of the words and descriptions, just the first, just regular capitalization. End of lease cleaning, we can say top rated end of lease clean sorry about this. Cleaners in Brisbane, guaranteed bond back cleaning, 24/7 support. 24/7 support for, you know, if they need to call you or contact you at any time. And then I like to put another description with usually some social proof once again, some good features, some USPs. So, you know, in our case, trusted by over 1,000 happy tenants who got their bond back. Leave the cleaning worries to us. Again, too many words. You just got to kind of play around here. There you go, that'll do. Okay, so again, just focusing on clear description, USPs, social proof, all those important things in there. USPs are unique service propositions or unique selling propositions. So what makes your ad specifically, what makes your business better than others. Images, you can throw in some images here of things related to your business. These are worthwhile testing. They often don't have a big impact, but they can just help you get a little bit more ad real estate. So upload some high quality images of your service, of your company, things like that. Business name, put in your business name here. Business logo, put in your business logo here. These are things which you need to get approved through the advertiser verification. So you need to complete advertiser verification in the account, and then you can input your business name and your business logo. You'll find the advertiser verification on the left column when you're outside of this. In the dashboard, you go into billing and then advertiser verification. You can verify in there. Site links you can add in as well. If you have specific links in your site that go to pages that are relevant for the user, this again lets you add some visual real estate. In this case, I'm not going to walk through and do all the site links here, but I'll give you an example. You know, maybe you have another page that outlines all the benefits of your service. So why our customers love us, and then you put in a URL for that page. You can also put a description for the page. I often find these are pretty unnecessary though. You might do another one like 50% off first clean. I know this isn't really relevant for this, but putting offers in here is great. And then you just link them to a specific offer page where they get, you know, a discount. Basically putting in pages that are relevant and can actually sell the customer. You don't want to put in site links for like about us. No one wants to go to your about us page. You're not going to get a sale on the about us page. If they click this, they're probably just going to leave. So you want to make sure all the pages on your site links are actually high quality and they're actually driving a purchase. Now, another thing I didn't mention here is you should be putting any offers in your headlines. So, you know, 50% off first clean. If you have an offer like that, chuck that in your headlines as well. That definitely helps get clicks. And in the descriptions too, make sure you're putting that in. Then you can put in structured snippets and call outs as well. Structured snippets are basically, here you go, service catalog. You get to pick from like a category, in this case, service catalog. This end of lease cleaning, carpet cleaning, lets you list off your services. Helpful again for ad real estate. Does it increase click-through rate by much? Don't know. Call outs, these are again just like unique service propositions. Customer service, 7 to 11 p.m. Satisfaction guaranteed, bond back guaranteed, 50% off first clean, whatever is interesting and whatever lets you stand out from others. Once you've completed all of that, we hit done and then we go next, and then you pick a budget. So totally depends on what your budget is. Sorry, we have this verification here. Let's see if it lets me keep going without this. But the budget is of course relevant to your business specifically, but I generally recommend working with a minimum of $50 a day for most businesses. If you have to push it down to, you know, 20, 25, you can do so as well in the very early stages. But 50 is usually a good starting point for to get some performance, get some data on Google Ads. Then we go next, and then your campaign is ready to publish as soon as it finishes here. Once we've loaded everything, it may not let me publish because I haven't done the verification, but we'll see in just a moment. It may not even load here. If it doesn't load, then basically there's one last button you need to press, and that button appears right here where I'm circling, and it says publish campaign. Sometimes you will actually get this infinite loading error. When it does happen, look out for any of these warning signals. There's a warning here, bidding. Okay, there's nothing actually wrong with it. This happens pretty often. You just kind of get these weird little errors when you're trying to publish a campaign sometimes. head back here. Still not happy. Got a budget. Yeah, and sometimes this does happen, and I've actually had a few cases myself where I've had to basically restart the entire campaign build. But there we go. If we switch to conversion value, then we go back to clicks. Okay, so this is just warning us right now that our bidding strategy isn't aligned with the campaign goal, which is of course leads. But we need to remember that at the beginning of the account, we need to make sure we're doing that. Okay, so we do have to verify in order to publish this campaign. I'm not going to go through that right now with you guys because there's no real additional steps here. The only thing you need to press, like I said, is publish campaign in the top right there. Now, if you watch this video and you found this helpful, please do drop a like down below. If you have any questions about this process, please leave them in the comments. I check every single comment and I will respond if you have a question about your Google Ads help. If you want me to set up this entire campaign for you, set up your entire account for you, all of your campaigns, all of your conversion tracking, all of your analytics, everything you need, please feel free to book a call with me in the description down below. I'd be more than happy to discuss what you need for your business and we can figure out exactly how I can help. Anyway, that's everything for me today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and I will see you in the next one.